Here's something most men don't want to hear. If you're struggling to get or keep an erection, it might not just be a bedroom problem. It might be the first sign that something is going wrong inside your blood vessels, the same blood vessels that feed your heart and your brain. Erectile dysfunction can show up 3 to 5 years before a heart attack or stroke. That's not a guess. That's what the research shows. Your body is trying to tell you something, and most men aren't listening. Today, we're talking about blood flow, why it matters more than almost anything else for sexual health, and what you can actually do about it. The Better Man podcast is produced by Kegel Men for informational and educational purposes only. This is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Every episode is reviewed by our medical team, but individual results may vary. Welcome back to the Better Man podcast. I'm Alex. Today we're going under the surface. Literally. We're looking at what happens inside your blood vessels when you get an erection, why the health of those vessels is the single most important factor in sexual function, and why your body's plumbing system deserves a lot more attention than it usually gets. By the end of this episode, you'll understand why what's good for your heart is good for your erections, and you'll have clear, practical steps you can take starting today. Let's start with what actually happens when you get an erection, because most men have a vague sense of it, but the details matter. When you become aroused, your brain sends signals through your nervous system to the blood vessels in your penis. Those signals trigger the release of a molecule called nitric oxide, and nitric oxide is the key player here. It's produced by the cells lining your blood vessels, a layer called the endothelium, and by nerve cells in the erectile tissue itself. Nitric oxide tells the smooth muscle in the walls of your penile arteries to relax. When that muscle relaxes, the arteries widen and blood rushes in. That blood fills 2 sponge-like chambers called the corpora cavernosa. As of the fill, they expand and press against the veins that would normally drain blood away. The result is pressure, rigidity, an erection. So an erection isn't just about desire or hormones or confidence. At its core, it's a vascular event. It depends on healthy arteries that can dilate quickly, a strong endothelium that produces enough nitric oxide, and veins that can be compressed to hold blood in place. If any part of that system is compromised, if the arteries are stiff, if the endothelium is damaged, if nitric oxide production is low, the whole process suffers. Here's where this gets really important, and where every man should be paying attention. The arteries that supply blood to the penis are smaller than the arteries that supply the heart. They're roughly 1 to 2 millimeters in diameter, compared with 3 to 4 millimeters for coronary arteries. That size difference matters enormously. Because when plaque starts building up in your blood vessels, a process called atherosclerosis, it affects smaller arteries first. That means erectile dysfunction can be the earliest visible sign of cardiovascular disease. Research from the Mayo Clinic and the American Heart Association has shown that ED can appear 2 to 5 years before a major cardiac event like a heart attack or stroke. A large meta-analysis of over 36,000 men found that those with erectile dysfunction had a 48% higher risk of cardiovascular disease, a 46% higher risk of coronary heart disease, and a 35% higher risk of stroke, compared to men without ED. A study published in the American Heart Association's journal Circulation found that men with ED had more than double the rate of heart attacks, cardiac arrest, and strokes compared to men without it. This is why doctors increasingly call erectile dysfunction a canary in the coal mine for heart disease. It's not just a sexual health issue, it's a cardiovascular warning sign. And especially if you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s and noticing changes in your erections, that signal is worth taking seriously. So, what actually damages the blood vessels that your erections depend on? The same things that damage blood vessels everywhere in your body. High blood pressure is one of the biggest. Over time, elevated pressure damages the delicate endothelial lining of your arteries. That lining loses its ability to produce nitric oxide efficiently, and the arteries become stiffer and less responsive. Many blood pressure medications can also affect erectile function, which creates a frustrating cycle for men trying to manage both. High cholesterol contributes to plaque buildup that physically narrows your arteries, including the small ones serving the penis. Diabetes is particularly damaging because high blood sugar deteriorates the small blood vessels and can cause nerve damage at the same time. About half of men with diabetes experience some degree of erectile dysfunction. Smoking is a direct assault on your vascular system. It damages blood vessel walls, accelerates plaque formation, and constricts arteries. If you're a smoker and you're having trouble with erections, that's one of the clearest connections there is. Then there are factors that are less obvious. Chronic stress floods your body with adrenaline and cortisol, which constrict blood vessels and reduce blood flow. Excess body fat contributes to chronic inflammation and hormonal imbalances that strain the vascular system. Men with metabolic syndrome, a cluster of conditions including insulin resistance, high triglycerides, and high blood pressure, are significantly more likely to experience erectile dysfunction. The common thread here is that anything that hurts your cardiovascular system hurts your sexual function. They're not separate systems, they're the same system. The good news is that vascular health is largely within your control, and many of the things that improve blood flow have been shown to directly improve erectile function. Exercise is the most powerful tool you have. A systematic review and meta-analysis found that 30 to 60 minutes of aerobic exercise, 3 to 5 times per week, produced significant improvements in erectile function. Running, swimming, cycling, brisk walking, anything that gets your heart rate up strengthens the heart, improves the flexibility of your arteries, and boosts nitric oxide production. Think of it this way. Exercise is training your blood vessels the same way you train a muscle. Diet matters too. Foods that support cardiovascular health support sexual health. Leafy green vegetables and beetroot are rich in dietary nitrates, which your body converts into nitric oxide. Fruits high in antioxidants, particularly those containing polyphenols like berries and pomegranates, help protect the endothelial lining from damage. A Mediterranean-style diet, rich in healthy fats, whole grains, and fresh produce, has been consistently linked to better erectile function. Quitting smoking can start improving vascular function remarkably quickly. Managing blood pressure and cholesterol, whether through lifestyle changes or medication, protects the arteries your erections depend on. And reducing chronic stress through practices like mindfulness, deep breathing, or regular physical activity helps keep blood vessels open and responsive. And here's something that often gets overlooked. Your pelvic floor plays a direct role in this. The ischiocavernosus and bulbocavernosus muscles help maintain rigidity during an erection by compressing veins and preventing blood from flowing back out. A randomized controlled trial found that men who did targeted pelvic floor exercises saw significant improvements in erectile function, with 40% regaining normal function after 6 months. That's a meaningful result from something you can do at home with no medication. Kegel training through the Kegel Men app gives you a structured, guided way to strengthen these muscles, and the impact goes beyond just the pelvic floor. Consistent training supports the vascular mechanics that make strong erections possible. If there's one thing to take from this episode, it's this. Your erections are a window into your vascular health. They're not separate from the rest of your body. They're a direct reflection of how well your blood vessels are functioning. If something's changing in the bedroom, don't ignore it. Don't assume it's just stress or aging. Talk to your doctor. Get your blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar checked. And start investing in the things that protect your blood vessels: exercise, nutrition, sleep, stress management, and targeted pelvic floor training. The body gives warnings. It's up to you to listen. Next time on the Better Man podcast, we're talking about something that connects directly to what we covered today: stress. Specifically, why your nervous system can shut down your sexual response before you even realize what's happening. Episode 4. Why stress kills your drive, the nervous system, and sex. I'm Alex. This is the Better Man podcast. See you next time.